Victoria, BC. It's beautiful, it's historic, and it's surrounded by the ocean and mountains. And if you're scrolling on Instagram or real estate listings, it can seem like the dream place to live. And don't get me wrong, I love this city. I was born and raised here, and I've built my real estate business right here in Victoria. But there are some downsides that most people don't even think about, whether you're considering moving here or if you already live here and you're just wondering, is it just me? This video is for you. I'm breaking down 10 real challenges of living here in Victoria. Some are annoying, some are expensive, and a few might just change your mind about making you move here and making the city your forever home. So let's just dive right in. Let's start with the obvious one. The cost of living here in Victoria is extremely high. We're consistently ranked as one of the most expensive places to live in all of Canada, and the numbers back it up. The average detached home here is over $1 million, and that's not even a luxury property. That's your average, maybe updated sometime in the 90s, three-bedroom family home. And then when you look at condos and townhomes, which are more affordable, but even those can be a stretch, especially for first-time home buyers. And if you're renting, now I'm not a property manager, so I can't go deep into the rental rates, but I have seen rental rates anywhere from say $2,000 to $2,800 a month for a one bedroom or two bedroom, depending on the location. And it's not just about the price tags. The competition here is crazy. It's common to see multiple offers and homes selling well above asking. And if you're not prepared, the market is going to feel overwhelming and even discouraging at times. Now, point number two, limited inventory equals limited options. Now, when you combine the prices with the limited housing inventory when it comes to, say, what's considered affordable in Victoria, it creates a very tough situation. We don't have a lot of available homes that are for under a million that are move-in ready or need minimal updates, or that are actually the proper size for a family. The thing is, Victoria has a natural growth constraints. We're surrounded by ocean, parkland, and agricultural land. So we can't just keep expanding outward like other cities can in Canada. So that's what affects the inventory and the pricing here. So whether you're buying or renting, your options are going to be pretty limited. If you want a three-bedroom house with a big backyard for under say 900,000, you might have one or two choices every few months, if that. So you have to be really prepared and ready to go if you're looking to do that. Because if you're thinking, oh, I'll just see how it goes, let me just dabble here and there, it doesn't work. If you want the right property that's affordable here in Victoria, you better be pre-approved. You better have your down payment ready. You better be looking at listings every moment of the day, because as soon as one comes up, if it's desirable, there's going to be a lot of people interested in it. So you need to be the first one through that door, seeing it and putting that offer in. Now, point number three, island life equals travel hassles. Living on an island seems peaceful, and it is, but it's also kind of a logistical challenge. To get on and off Vancouver Island, you need to take a ferry or catch a flight. There's no bridge here that connects you to the mainland, and that makes every trip, whether it's for, say, work, visiting family, or just travel in general, takes up more time and it makes things more expensive. For example, the ferry to go from here to Vancouver takes, say, around 90 minutes. But with lineups and wait times, you need to book reservations in advance. Like I've seen it, I've heard on the news, listening at 7 a.m., that the ferry is booked for, say, vehicles all the way to like 3 p.m., 5 p.m., even 7 p.m. at night. So you need to do a reservation if you want to bring a car onto the ferry. And that makes things not really cheap. If you're bringing a car and a couple passengers, you're looking at over $120 round trip, and prices are rising. Like, for example, I went to Vancouver. For me and one passenger, it cost me $100 to get on that ferry to go there, and another $100 to come back. And now, taking into account gas and other expenses, it adds up. Now, on the other side, the airport is nice and it's easy to get through, but direct flights can be sometimes limited depending on where you want to go. Say you want to go to Toronto, you may have to connect through Vancouver. Or if you're planning to do a trip, say US or Mexico, same story. It adds time, cost, and complexity to every trip. If you want to save money, you might have to catch a ferry, then catch a cab to the airport in Vancouver. But if you want to save time, then you have to catch the airplane here, go to Vancouver, and then go to your destination, but that's adding cost. So you definitely need to take that into account if you're someone who travels a lot. Now, number four, it's unfortunate, but wages are lagging behind here. Even though Victoria is one of the most expensive places to live in all of Canada, the average wages here aren't really a livable wage for the long term, which is very unfortunate, even though there are other cities in Canada where it is possible. So, unless you're like in a very high demand job, such as healthcare, you may have a tough time finding a high paying job in general. Many retail and hospitality and admin jobs here still hover around $18 to $25 an hour. And that's fine if your expenses are low. But in Victoria, that usually isn't the case. Your rent, gas, grocery, childcare are higher than other parts of Canada. And let's say you own a house. Because of the price of houses, your mortgage payment is going to be higher than other parts of Canada as well. That means a lot of people here are living paycheck to paycheck, even though they're working full time. And don't forget, many workers here rely on seasonal jobs tied to tourism. So when the cruise ships leave, hours get cut and money can get tight. So if you're thinking about moving to Victoria, make sure you have a proper job lined up and you look at the cost of things in terms of what you're getting paid at work and your daily or monthly expenses overall before you decide to just jump over here, because you don't want a situation where like you're getting pushed out of Victoria, because unfortunately I've heard of people having to leave Victoria because they just can't afford to live here anymore. Now, number five, long, gray, wet winters. People say Victoria has some of the best weather in all of Canada, and that's true to a point. But let's paint a picture for you. From November through March, it rains a lot. Not big thunderstorms, more like weeks, a little drizzle, then overcast skies. Kind of feels like there's a great cloud hovering above you all day. And it's damp, it's chilly, and the sun really barely makes an appearance during that time. Now, if you come from, say, the prairies or Ontario, you're probably thinking, no snow? That sounds great. And to be sure, it is better than minus 30-degree weather. But don't underestimate the mental impact of 4 to 5 months with barely any sunshine. Or you can think about what's called SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which is pretty real over here. A lot of people take supplements like vitamin D just to keep the mood boosted. And it is an issue, but overall, it just depends on what you like more. Would you rather deal with snow or would you rather deal with rain? So it just depends on your own situation and what you like to deal with. But just wait until the spring and summer because it is beautiful at that time. Number six, power outages from windstorms. Here's something the brochures don't really mention to you: windstorms. Victoria gets hit with maybe a few strong ones every here and there during the fall and winter. And if you live, say, near the ocean or under big trees, it's not uncommon to hear branches snapping or maybe your roof taking some damage. Because of so many power lines also being above ground, power outages can actually be a regular thing in some neighborhoods. I've heard about people, say, living in cities where there's no power outages ever, and then they find themselves in the dark maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So it's usually not dangerous, but it can be inconvenient, especially if you work, say, from home or if you have young kids. So maybe a backup power plan is something you want to take into account if you're thinking about setting up a home or anything over here. Now, number seven is kind of an issue across Canada in general, but it is healthcare access can be a struggle here in Victoria. This is one that really hits home for me because it's hard to find a family doctor here in Victoria. There are thousands of people on wait lists, and many end up relying on walk-in clinics, which are often full by, say, 8 a.m. Like, unless you're one of the very first people to call, you have to be up early and wait in your car or on the sidewalk and hope you'll be seen. Now, the ERs, especially, say, Royal Jubilee or Victoria General Hospital, are overburdened. Unless it's a serious emergency, you might have to wait 4 to 8 hours. I've heard about people waiting 12 hours in the emergency room. And for newcomers with kids, seniors, or anyone going through, say, medical needs, this can be very stressful. And while new clinics and virtual care options are expanding, the system is still under a serious strain. So please make sure you take that into account when you're coming here to Victoria. And number eight, a tough social scene for newcomers. Victoria is warm and friendly, but socially, it can be kind of tough to break in. It's a smaller city, and a lot of people have grew up together here, went to school together, and that kind of means that friendship groups are kind of tight knit and long standing. So if you're a newcomer, especially in your 30s or 40s, it can take some time before you really feel like you belong. I've spoken to people where they've said it taking them a year or two to really feel like they have a social connection here in Victoria. And if you're someone who really thrives on a social life, it may take some very intentional effort on your part, such as volunteering, clubs, or professional networks to really build your circle. So, unless you put in the effort and get out from yourself, you're going to have a hard time. So, make sure if you're someone who really likes to be around people, it might be easier for you if you're someone who's very outgoing compared to someone who's a bit more of an introvert. So, but at the end of the day, as long as you step out, people are kind, they're friendly, and you can kind of work your way into circles as long as you're willing to put the effort yourself to get in there. Now, number nine is something that a lot of people here don't really talk much about, but we are aware of it, and that's the risk of an earthquake. So, Victoria actually sits on a major fault line, and scientists have been warning for years that a major earthquake could hit the region. While minor tremors are rare, the risk of a significant quake is something locals are aware of, but we don't really talk much about it. So if you're buying a home here, especially an older one, make sure you speak to your insurance provider about earthquake insurance because there are companies that don't cover earthquake at all. So you want to make sure you look across many companies to find the right one that fits your situation. And you also want to make sure you understand what kind of emergency planning you'll need. That means maybe having food and water stored, a to go bag, and communication plan if power and cell service were to go down. But this isn't meant to scare you, but it's just something you need to kind of take seriously and understand in case the situation ever comes up. Now, finally, number 10, it's quiet. Maybe too quiet. Lastly, we're going to talk about the vibe. Victoria is calm, peaceful, and relaxing, but for some people, it's a little too relaxing. Most restaurants here close around maybe 9, 10, maybe 11 o'clock, and there's not really many late night spots. Big concerts and events are few, and outside of maybe like the summer festival, it's not really a city that's really known for after dark activities. If you're used to say the buzz of like Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, the nightlife, the diversity, and the constant energy, Victoria might feel like it's missing something. Now, that's not a deal breaker for everyone, but it's worth considering. If you're someone who loves to go out, stay out until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night, you may have to really rethink that because Victoria isn't a nightlife city. But it is definitely a great, amazing city to live in for the long term, at least in my opinion. So there you have it 10 real challenges of living here in Victoria, BC. Now, this isn't about complaining, it's about helping you make an informed decision. I love this city. I help people all the time move here, but I also believe in keeping things real. If you're thinking about making the move here and or thinking about buying or selling real estate in general, or just need help navigating the pros and cons, I'm here to help. My contact info is in the description below. Other than that, drop a comment if anything surprised you, give this video a like if it helped, and don't forget to subscribe for more real estate tips and local insights. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.